At this point, I want us to have a different session altogether. This time, we may not be rolling presentation, but I want us to have a discussion. And so I want to invite some speakers on stage, and then from there, we are going to engage them. This time round, perhaps maybe it will be more about you and not them. These are experts in their various fields. And so I want to welcome Ms. Artisha, a lead consultant, the Cobalt Partners. We're going to get more details. So this time round, I'm not going through the profiles because they are going to tell you more about what they do. I'm also inviting Ms. Esther Gathigi, the Country Director, Digital Opportunity Trust Kenya, and then Professor Margaret Oloko. If you don't mind, you can join us here. And then we are going to have a discussion which is going, of course, to look at matters to do with the digital innovation. The main reason why I've invited Prof here is because she has a lot of knowledge when it comes to strategic management and all that. So she's going to be giving us some insights about that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the team that you see here has a lot of experience, a wealth of experience in their respective field. First, I think it's very important for us to get to know them more, and then from there, we'll see at which level that we are going to engage them. So take note of what they do and what they are saying, because after their brief remarks, I'm coming over to you. Let's start with Ms. Esther Gathigi, the Country Director, Digital Opportunity Trust Kenya. Perhaps maybe you can just a brief introduction of what you do, and most importantly, maybe you can also highlight the role of creativity and innovation in the women entrepreneurship development, because that's the focus of this particular discussion.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon to everyone. So as you heard, my name is Esther Gathigi. I am the Country Director for Digital Opportunity Trust Kenya. And what we do is we train young people between the ages of 18 and 29 on how to start social enterprises. We take them through the process of registering their social enterprises. We give them some little bit of capital. I don't even want to call it capital, but an enabling amount that will help them get their business off the ground. We also do digital training. We train women. We're currently training women in Buruburu, and also in the counties where we work, which is Nyeri, Kakamega, Kisumu, Mombasa, and Eldoret. We do digital training skills, which has a combination of digital skills, mobile and computer, as well as entrepreneurship. So how do you advance your business through digital network, and what can you take advantage of in this digital space to grow your business? So that's what we do. And as I was thinking about the role of innovation, I took some time to just think through what we'll define as innovation. And innovation comes from a Latin word known as innovare, and it means to alter, to make a change, to renew or restore, or to return a thing to return to a thing. So it could be about developing new products or new services, exploiting new opportunities. It could be about improving a business process. All that is part of the innovation journey. And it's interesting to hear, as I was listening earlier before lunch, to hear that there are women doing such great innovations in Kenya, with discovery of a drug that helps with arthritis, or the women who are doing these chondos and they have registered that as a trademark. And I was at the show last week and I saw someone is making some beetroot jam. I didn't even know you could make jam from beetroot. And we tend to underestimate the power of innovation, and yet our grandparents, our mothers were very innovative. They made the chondos before even the paper bags became popular. When your grandmother did not have enough unga to make ugali, she would add potatoes. She was innovating in her own kitchen. When they needed to go great distances, they'd come together and you know, they formed these chamas. Chamas were started by women. So we as women, I feel like we tend to not showcase how much women are doing, and yet we are the backbone of the society. It's said that if we were to empower women, over $2 billion would get into the economy. So what are we doing to propel these women to get into the economy? What are we doing to encourage this innovation, small scale as it is, that yes, you're making a kiondo, how can we innovate the process of making that kiondo? It could be the process of harvesting the sisal, it could be the process of creating this kiondo, or it could be what we were hearing about, the Kisii soapstone that is now making floor tiles. So what are those small processes that are going to make a change throughout the course of our development?
Oh, powerful. Thank you, Ms. Esther. Let's go to Ms. Atisha. Perhaps maybe you can just tell us, you know, your mind when it comes to empowering women, and most importantly, what you've done at Cobalt Partners.
Okay, thank you. So my career at Cobalt is 2 years old, and that's because I'm a problem solver at the root. I have a degree in French and computer science. How many women and men here have a degree in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics? Please stand up. Am I alone? Wow. Okay, well, that's going to be very relevant as I sort of continue. But essentially, I solve problems, whether that's business problems, government problems, through technology. Prior to joining Cobalt 2 years ago, I was with Thomson Reuters for 24 years and worked in various locations, London, here, managing Sub-Saharan Africa twice. The second time for government relations for Africa, I was based in Amsterdam, I was based in Mumbai. So I've had the privilege of using my technology or using my thirst to solve problems to work around the world. And you might think, well, why is somebody from a corporate background talking about entrepreneurship? All of my roles, if there's one thing that is sort of common throughout, is that I've always been an entrepreneur in a corporate environment. So every time the company was thinking, well, we want to grow that business, or we need to go and defend that business, or we need to go and fix that, we're not quite sure how to do it, let's send Aarti, right? And so I'd go in with almost a blank sheet of paper, a few targets at the top, because of course you always have to have targets, and then go and solve whatever the opportunity, problem, whatever was at hand. I think the reason I mentioned STEM, and I'm really passionate about bringing more women into STEM, is because how many people have children here? How many people have a 5-year-old? So by the time your 5-year-old is graduating, do you realize that it'll be cheaper to produce, to manufacture furniture in the United States than it will be in Kenya? Using robots, using 3D printers. Do you know that we have 3D printers in Kenya, that you can go and use one? There's a company called AB3D Printer, or AB3D something. It's a one-stop shop for 3D printing. Has anybody visited Gearbox? So, fantastic. So if you're into manufacturing, that is the place to go, right? If you want to defend Kenya's right to manufacture furniture in 2034, go and check out what they're doing at Gearbox. And then, we've got a plasma cutter for wood and metal. Now, that might not sound exciting, but frankly, that is the future. Yeah, I think. I set myself a timer without even knowing. It must have been my brain telling my phone. Right. I think. Where do you think Kenya ranks globally as far as innovation is concerned? Have a guess. To the nearest 10. Out of 126. Go on, Bonnie, go and give me a guess. Oof. He's read my notes. 78th. Right? And Kenya is acknowledged for being an innovator in things like access to credit. I have a problem with that. I think access to credit, I think the convenience of a loan on a mobile phone, the loan is so expensive and the costs get passed on to our customers that by that 2034 date I keep talking about, we will not be competitive. So what we as women entrepreneurs need to be doing, look, I don't have collateral, I have cash flow, I have LPOs, I have lines of credit, I have invoices. Give me a deal. Give me affordable financing on the back of that. We talked, and I think through Google, we were talking about all these tools that you can be using to be an entrepreneur. Who here, how do you manage your accounts today? We're all business people. How are we doing it? Who's using professional accounting software? Who's using Excel? Who's not keeping a record of their accounts? The day you want to become Bonnie Kim's level, you will need to prove to all sorts of people that you have been keeping records for all these years, and you know, maybe you want to go and get that loan for that $3 million expansion plan. If you don't have those records, you're not going to get that capital. So again, maybe another action point for people to take away. Let's start thinking about some of these things. Just a couple more things before I sort of hand over. From a global innovation index perspective, Kenya comes 78th. Some of the things that other countries that are perhaps higher ranked are doing better at, and I think can happen in Kenya today, linkages between universities and corporates. We don't have enough of that in Kenya today. And I think some of the most successful, most innovative countries have that. The good news is, you as Kenyans have just borrowed $50 million from the World Bank to improve that, right? So if you're an entrepreneur and you want to see how can I tap into that money, and get access to universities, the cutting edge of research and development, that's available, right? There are plenty of other things, and I'm happy to sort of talk about them as time goes on, but I just wanted to sort of leave that food for thought.
Thank you so much. Let's go to Prof, because you've mentioned something which is very key in terms of research and innovation, and universities are known for that. In terms of where we are in the country, Prof, how are our universities doing in terms of empowerment and innovation in the picture?
Okay, thank you very much, Elijah. Good afternoon. Yes, my name is Margaret Oloko from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. I do what I do best, and that is teaching. And in terms of entrepreneurship, the contribution of the university is that we are the organs that are training people, basically in research and innovation, right? And in terms of entrepreneurship, we are bridging a gap between the knowledge that the people have, or the learners, or the students. Our main take in this is that we want to train those people who can add value to the society. And by adding value is that we are giving them a leeway to be who they are, to do what they do best in terms of their levels of creativity. And I can tell you there's so much innovation within the universities. But the universities are facing one problem: how to reach the market. And that is very true. We have quite a number of innovations that are, so to speak, on the shelves, because our aim initially was to train and do research, and that's it. It is until in the recent past that we have realized that the people we are training are not going anywhere. And therefore, the universities have come up with a curriculum to develop entrepreneurs. And this is to link up what is missing within the society. And we are providing solution to the society. Now, she's talked about partnership. We have a linkage. We have linkages with the society. Maybe as of now, there could be few, but the future is we need to link up with the society, the industry, and really come up with programs that solve problems within the society, not in the lab, because that's where the concentration has been. Our main focus has been to do research and get promoted. So what? That's a question you're asking yourself. You are a professor. What value have you added to the society? And therefore, the universities are coming up with programs to involve faculty members in research, involve the students in research, and see how best we can be able to be solutions to what is happening next door. That's the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe at this particular point, you are in a position to exactly know who does what with that brief introduction. And so I just want to invite any question. Remember, we are looking at technology, we're looking at innovation, we're looking at the systems that work. So I want to open the floor so that we can have 1 or 2 questions directed to any of the speakers here. And then from there, we can move on and find out more about equipping women to thrive in this digital age. So there is a roaming mic. Any specific question? As perhaps we wait for more questions from the floor, I want to come back to you, Ms. Esther from Digital Opportunity Trust Kenya. And looking at the platform that you have, are young people and especially women exploiting that particular platform that you have fully?
You'd be surprised, we have more than 50% representation of women in all our programs. The one challenge we did see as we were moving more towards online training instead of face-to-face is encouraging the women to get online. It's easier for them to come to a face-to-face session because then I can tell my mom, once I'm done with my chores at home, then I need to attend this session. Because we deal a lot with the out of school, out of work bracket. We have those who are in universities, so they will come in, whether they're in session or they're at home, they find time to come to our sessions. And so when we create those opportunities for them, you have to be very open-minded when it comes to women. You have to encourage, you have to approach the training for women differently from the way I would approach training for men. For a woman, she's concerned about the timing of the training. It shouldn't interrupt her if she has chores or if she has anything. She doesn't want that interruption. So we have flexible timings for the women. We also ensure that we're not doing trainings that are too far. They're not at night. So they feel safe. You're providing a safe environment for them. And then the parents also want to know where exactly are they coming. So we ensure that we're working with community-based organizations, and we have a very good partnership with the Kenya National Library that allows the parents to also be confident that where I'm sending my child, I wouldn't even call them child, where I'm sending my young person, my young leader, is a place where I know they will be safe. And once you have fulfilled some of those questions and you've answered those questions for the youth, for the women and for the parents, you find that women are greater in number. They're more passionate. And because we're asking them to look at what challenges they're facing in their communities and create solutions for that. In fact, I'm very happy to hear Jake Watt has ideas that are on the shelf, because then we can talk. I'm helping young people go to the market, so let's have a conversation and see how we can help your young students get to the market, because we'll bring in the non-academic aspect of pushing you forward and getting you to the market. So the ideas are there. The women are very passionate about it, and with the right platforms, the sky is the limit for them.
Perfect. And now that you mentioned about universities, I want us to maybe digress a bit from the digital age and all that. Let's talk about business and specifically strategic management, which is one of your majors. are we making an overkill of digital age or digital era when we are talking about empowerment and forgetting the role that strategic management plays in women empowerment, Prof?
Thank you very much. I think that's a very valid question. Strategic management is the key. And coupled with the digital era, I think we don't have any other way. The world has gone digital. And for our processes to move on and for life to be better, we have to incorporate technology at all levels. Something we normally say in the university is you publish or perish. So in this case also, you fail to adapt to the digital world, you are going to perish. And we have to be strategic in that way that we are going to involve or inculcate the technology in all our areas of operations. And let me just mention something. The role of the university is actually to develop human capital. And in developing human capital, we would wish to have the personnel that are digitally conscious or technology conscious. People who can actually be able to provide solutions at a glance, very, very quickly using the latest technology. And what has been there before, maybe in the recent years, has been a valley, we call it a valley of death. So deep, the university on one side, the industry on the other side. There's been quite some level of mistrust between the industry and the university. So we're trying to come up with this trust, bridge up this, so that you don't look at me as so high up there. I want to come down here and understand what the problem you're facing. And therefore, we're trying to come up with that kind of a bridge. And this is why we are going for collaborations. To first of all, identify what it is, and then try to solve the solution. And the researches that we are having today are geared towards solving the societal problems. Initially, we used to do them, but put them on the shelves. Not that they are currently, because the university has also adopted the fact that we have to commercialize. We have to be entrepreneurial, so to speak. And therefore, they're also picking up this and trying to put them into the market so that they could be solutions to the problems that society is facing. So technology is the way forward. And I can say that being an entrepreneur is a future for the world, the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. To you, Ms. Atisha, my question is simple because you talked about technology, and indeed, Kenya has been doing well, so to speak, though that's relative because we are known to be home to M-Pesa and all that. But we are still not yet there, even from the numbers that you've just given. So where is the weak link? What are we doing wrong? Are we just embracing this technology in the wrong way? What's happening?
So I'll give a statistic at an Africa level, and then we'll bring it back to Kenya. Today, if you look at all the investment going into innovation across Africa, all the recurring investment, we're a little bit of a victim of our own success. We're a little bit in an M-Pesa coma because 85% of recurring investment is going into fintech or fintech-related innovations, which means that there's then very little left for the likes of genomics, nanotechnology, bioinformatics. Now, these words may all sound like foreign, but these are the careers of today and the future, right? So, the fact that we don't have enough money going into health technology, education technology, government technology, I mean, there is some, but if so much of it is being skewed towards financial services, that means there's either the pot has to grow significantly or we have to sort of start spending less there and more on things which are really going to help industrialization. The first thing has to start with education, and it has to start, I mean, obviously primary and secondary, but tertiary is absolutely critical. Tertiary is the home of what is called basic research, and by that I don't mean, sort of simple stuff. It's cutting edge stuff. Academia then needs to partner with corporates to commercialize. Academia needs to go into the accelerators and the innovation hubs to partner with startups and again, get some of this vast knowledge sort of made into things that are so relevant. But I think if you're going to think about a change of career when you leave this room, I really do think a lot more focus on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is a direction that Kenya absolutely has to go into.
Well put. Now at this point, before I get some parting shots or rather closing thoughts from the speakers here, I just want to ask whether there is anyone with a question to any of the speakers here. Any question from the floor? I would not like to lock out anyone. Yes, we have one question. Yes, Ezekiel, you can. Any other question so that we can do the mapping before we? Okay, thank you.
Again? Okay, my question goes to Professor Margaret Oloko. There's a lot of perception that education, and more so postgraduate education, is basically towards achieving academic excellence, to be a lecturer or a professor like you, and not for the entrepreneurs. I'm asking that because I was admitted recently to do my doctorate at GQuat, but I can't get a full class. Why? Because those guys in academia are busy teaching, but the rest just don't want to join yet. Kindly speak on that, just on the same theme of bridging the gap between university and the corporate.
Let me see if I got your question well. You're saying that the postgraduate studies is geared towards, what did you say?
It's geared towards lecturing or being in the profession of just teaching.
And not entrepreneurship? Okay. Maybe I would look at individuals. I may not say that everyone would go for teaching, because basically not everyone can be a lecturer. Yes. And when you get to that high point, you're supposed to be a researcher, and you're supposed to be a problem solver, not really focused on classwork. Classwork is just part of it. But at that high level, we are supposed to provide solution. We are supposed to be a bridge. We conduct research, and we need to disseminate the results back to the society so that it can be useful. In other words, we are supposed to be adding value. So that perception may not be right, that people are busy looking for teaching opportunities. It may for one or two, but not for everyone. And I think if you got out there research that is focused toward the society, I think that knowledge you get from the university would be better useful to solving the societal problems. It may be a perception, just like you said, which may not probably be right. Thank you.
I think in terms of things like entrepreneurship, one of the exciting developments is that not all teaching even has to be classroom, right? So there's a company called ADRESS, which is founded by a Nigerian, ran out of Switzerland, and currently they're present in Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire, and we want to bring them into Kenya. This is a program that would help graduates who want to go into a modern 21st century job in a company, or to become an entrepreneur, to build the skills that they may not have picked up as an undergraduate, right? There's that terrible word, soft skills, right? All the sort of leadership, communication, empathy, frankly, the things that your mother should have taught you or your parents should have taught you at home. But, I think these days we're making a career out of teaching them. And then there's also certain training and information technology, so programming and others. And the whole plan is that at the end of that work learning program, those graduates are then more employable, or they're readier to become entrepreneurs. I think that's one way of bridging the gap. I mean, and I think there are so many other ways in which we can sort of make ourselves ready for the modern 21st century environment. But I think we have to start by understanding what are the problems we want to be solving, right? And let's make sure that somebody else somebody halfway around the world or 3 counties down the road hasn't already solved it. So to socialize that knowledge and to be aware of what's going on, and not necessarily thinking that you are the inventor of a product, that's also really important.
Okay, perfect. Perhaps maybe as I take your closing thoughts, Esther, you can also comment on the element of bridging the gap and bringing in entrepreneurship other than just being so academia, so to speak.
Well, we do really need entrepreneurship, and we need academia to support that entrepreneurship, because the research that is done then supports some of the solutions that we have. I think what I would say in terms of bridging that is we need to encourage entrepreneurs who are getting into it to not be one-man shows. So it's not about you as an individual. You could be the dream bearer. You have this big dream and you have the vision and you know where you're going, but you need a team to support you. You can never do it alone. And this team now can be someone from academia who's going to support you in terms of research. It could be someone from someone who understands policies, someone who understands the challenges that you're facing. You need someone who understands numbers, who can tell you whether whatever you're doing is economically viable. So innovation is a dream, it's a vision, but you need a realist to tell you, I love your dream, but this is a reality and this is the only way we can make it work. And that push and pull between my very big vision and this is a reality brings us the very brilliant innovations that we see. So if you don't have someone telling you, I love your vision, but you're never going to make money out of it, then it will just be that, a dream. You need to balance that balance between I have this very big vision and I love your vision, and this is what it looks like on paper, and yes, it will work, or this is what we need to change to make it work. So I would say one of the key things that we need is we need role models. There are not enough stories of women succeeding. There are not enough stories of women doing research and these brilliant things. It's unfortunate that we'd have to come to a conference to learn that there's so much innovation coming around Kenya and people registering intellectual property and copyrights. And yet, if we knew some of these things were happening, then we're encouraging young people in schools, at the universities, to keep on pushing their dreams. Part of it is hearing this journey, hearing that, yes, I went through these challenges. It took me 10, 15 years to get where I am, and here I am. It's the same thing with globally. I mean, all the Richard Bransons, all these people, they never tell us the journey. They come forward and tell us, you need to have a vision, you need to have a dream, and work hard and you'll get where you are. And they don't tell you it took them 20, 15 years. It's just the other day that Alibaba was saying, people keep celebrating me because I'm this successful person. And yet Alibaba was registered in 1998. So in that duration of time, who has talked about his story? Everyone is talking about who he is now. Yes, so can we have more women coming up and sharing, role models, mentorship, hand-holding, and that marriage between what is your very big vision and what is the reality of getting that into a commercially viable entity?
Thank you so much. I think that's well put. And it's at this point that I want us to appreciate the speakers for this particular session, starting with Atisha. Thank you so much, Prof. And Esther, we do appreciate you. Let's appreciate them better as they take their seat.